Hello everyone, welcome back to another aftermarket analysis from me. So I'll be going over today's trade. I did take a trade, but unfortunately it was a loss. My first loss on my funded account, which stings a little, but I mean it's just part of the game. And yeah, but I'll be going over the setup. So today is Thursday. We didn't have any news events today, so I'll just be looking for setups 30 minutes before 9:30 at 9 a.m. When we go to our daily chart, this is how it was looking. We've had such a crazy run to the upside, but we've taken out, all these highs. This high I had marked out, and we just printed this daily fair value gap right here. So when I look at the charts right here, I would prefer to kind of take a short setup, like to take some sells towards the daily fair value gap to then continue higher. Because of how overextended we are, and we took out so much liquidity, and we have a gap resting here below. So what would confirm that for me would be if we had a previous week high or a previous day high SMT. Then I could frame that kind of like short-term sell into a fair value gap. Yeah, so daily is pretty bullish, although I'm leaning short-term bearish right now. This is how the daily chart, this is how the 90-minute chart was looking like. This previous day low right here is also, it coincides with the start of the daily fair value gap. So this is like my target for today. As you can see, we have a previous day high SMT. ES and NQ closed above previous day high, but YM has failed to even take it out. As you can see, we also got like some bearish structure to the downside. On NQ, we got a change in state of delivery. Also have that on YM and ES. So today, my game plan was simple. It was just look for low time frame SMTs to enter and to take price lower to previous day low. As you can see here, bias today bearish. What would be invalidation of my bias would be if we invalidate previous day high. That would be like my invalidation for my bearish bias. What time am I looking at for a trade? 9 a.m. And where am I looking for a trade? I'm looking for a previous session high or previous 90-minute high and change in state delivery, targeting previous day low. So action plan for today, low time frame bearish SMTs. So we did end up getting a trade, and I'll just go over. We had a previous 90-minute SMT here. First of all, we had a London high SMT. Can't really show it right now, but yeah, anyway, we had a London high SMT. We closed, I'm sorry. Yeah, we had a London high SMT. I can't really like show it right now, unfortunately. But we also had a 5-minute SMT, which was my entry. So we closed above the previous 90-minute high here on NQ. If you go look at ES at the time, we did not close above it. Oops. Here. So if you can see, we didn't close above it on ES, but we did on NQ. So that was an SMT. And then when we got this changes to delivery down here, I entered the trade. I entered around here. Now, you may be thinking, how was this a loss? Well, entered here, and then we saw price push lower and close below this low right here. And because of how kind of like strong the market has been, I wanted to see price kind of continue lower from this low. I didn't want to see a bullish reaction from here. Also because we had a 15-minute SMT, a 15-minute bullish SMT, and a 5-minute bullish SMT against us right here. So ideally, we would want to see, it continue lower from here. So I brought stops to break even very quickly around here when we closed below this low. But then I got stopped at break even right here. And then we had this. We had this other kind of we had another shift to the downside. And this one isn't I would say my usual A+ type of trade, but this was a pretty good expansion lower. The reason why I liked it was also because with this expansion lower, we invalidated the 15-minute SMT against us and the 5-minute bullish SMT against us. So we invalidated all SMTs on the lows with this huge candle. It displaced lower. We had another change in state delivery. And if you can see, previous day lows here. And it was still around a 2.8R trade. And we were moving pretty aggressively. So this was kind of like a re-entry for me. I was looking at this as more so of a re-entry. The framework was still the same. The risk to reward to the target was still good. Overall, I thought it was a decent opportunity. So that's where I entered, and literally did not see any profits come from this trade. The moment I entered, it just went against me and against me and against me, and stopped me out here and continued higher. So yeah, that was the day for me, which is unfortunate. So I lost, let me see, as you can see here on the bottom left, I am minus $761 on my account. So that's around 1R. I'm trying to risk $750 per trade. So, around 1R loss on the account. It is what it is, though. So yeah. One thing to keep in mind is I have been tracking also, this is my stats for this year, and then I'm also tracking the stats of this year for my mechanical model. So the model that I'm using right now, it's still the same, but then when it comes to trade management, I'm bringing stops to break even quicker. I'm using a bit more discretion, like today, re-entering in other trades, bring it to break even quicker. And I'm also kind of at the same time monitoring my mechanical version of my strategy, in which I'm not bringing stops to break even. I'm just trailing it to market structure, right? So this is something interesting. It's even though today, if I hadn't changed my stops, if I hadn't brought it to break even, this day would have still been a break-even trade, and even for the mechanical strategy, this would have been a loss right here because there was no trailing point. But yeah, even though I could say, I felt like maybe I should have held the trade, not bring it to break even so quickly. This year has already been really good in terms of discretion and bringing it to break even. And if you can see here in April, I've had, since I passed the account, as you can see, I've had one loss, which was today, and the mechanical version of the strategy would have had 4 losses. So it's also important to see that, it may not have worked out, bringing stops to break even quickly, and my, discretion didn't work out in this specific trade. But overall, this year, it has been outperforming the mechanical strategy, is what I'm saying. So that's just something to keep in mind. Yeah, so looking back on the day, I don't think this was a bad trade. It felt a little bit like I was chasing price because, I'm entering right at the bottom. But I think, the framework was still there, the risk to reward was still there. It wasn't bad. I wouldn't classify this as a bad trade. Maybe just not as ideal as entering up here, but it is what it is. So yeah, that is minus 1R on the week for me. Yeah, this is my first trade of the week, and it's a loss, so I'll just come back tomorrow and see what's up. Daily is still pushing ever so higher. Now I'm watching to see if we can hit this swing high on the daily, which I don't know if we have. Have we? Bruh, have we? I don't know. We didn't. We didn't even take it out. Anyway, if we take this out, it's a pretty big swing high on the daily chart. And I would expect, a little pullback from here. I mean, gosh, bro. I mean, how much more do you want to go up? It's been literally like 9 days in a row of just upwards candles. It's so crazy. Yeah, anyway, I'm rambling, so I'll come back tomorrow. All I can do is trust the process, continue taking good quality setups, and then I'll bring my account back to profit and just gotta submit to the process, basically. So, alright, hope this was insightful, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.